The Ginger Wizard strikes again. That is Kevin De Bruyne. When you pay big money for big players, they come up in big moments. That's a lot of big, but I know that that's what happens when you put the money into a player that you know can show up in these games. And that's why Kevin De Bruyne is worth every penny. That's why I said he would have been a fantastic signing. And that is why I don't understand when you're playing one-on-one against Kevin De Bruyne, you decide to tackle him with your hands behind your back and backtrack because he's just going to take you. You don't have enough balance. I'll get into that in a minute. So, of course, I'm talking about Manchester City's 2-1 victory, crucial 2-1 victory over Sevilla now, meaning that Sevilla will have to beat, I think, Manchester City when they travel over to Spain to play them at home. So touching on that game as a whole, I think that it was a great example of Sevilla and how they expose the weak side. So they focus a lot of their attack down at Manchester City's left side, and in a quick switch of play, they exploited the weakness at the back post, and it was an easy finish for them. And they had chances to convert, trust me. They could have easily been 2-0 up, and then in the second half, when it went 1-1, they could have went 2-1, 3-1 in their favour, but they didn't take those chances. So talking about Manchester City's goal to get back in the game, Yaya Toure in this game was allowed to push forward a little bit more. I think that's what happens when you don't play Aguero in there. I think with Bonnie up top, he needs a little bit more support, and Yaya Toure can strive forward, use those long legs, and he had no right to get into the position he was at. The ball was shielded somewhat going out over the touchline, and he just uses that monstrous frame to just bend around the defender. The defender complains. I don't know what he's complaining about. He's grabbing onto Yaya Toure's arm, but Toure's just too strong, shrugs him off, cuts it back. Raheem Sterling's shot deflects. Wilfred Bonny just scrambles it in. I think he throws a leg at it. He runs away celebrating, looks back. Everyone's congratulating Yaya Toure, but that's what happens because Toure was the majority of why that goal actually went in. But still, Bonny's in the right place at the right time, and that'll give his confidence a hell of a boost. 2 goals in his last 2 games for him. So then we move into the second half, as I said. Manchester City, still at times, Mangala was looking very shaky. Some rash clearances where he would just throw his leg at it. Sometimes he just doesn't look as mature as he should be. But Manchester City, when they had to, they turned to a player who I said on my tactics clip, you can go back and check it out. It's clearly titled in our playlist is, can Kevin De Bruyne carry Manchester City now that Aguero's out? And he can, because when he's given that space, whether he's on the right flank, left flank, either foot, so talented, all he needs is that little yard of space to unleash a shot. In Sevilla, I think should have been a little bit more mature, should have doubled up on Kevin De Bruyne, especially when he's cutting in side, because he's so direct in his movement that it's hard for them to try and close that space. And I've never understood. I understand when you're in the box and someone's got a clear option of shooting and they don't look like they're going anywhere, you put your hands by your side. But when someone's running at you one-on-one, this is just me. I mean, I've been a previous defender. I would always like to have my hands kind of give me the balance of what I need to be backtracking and be ready to go either way. Keep my hands down if I think there's going to be a shot unleashed, but just backtracking like that, it's almost like you're giving yourself a disadvantage. And Kevin De Bruyne sees that. You look at him, just lift his eyes, look at his opponent, shifts onto his left foot and just buries it in the corner. It's far too easy for me, but also a great sign of why he is a fantastic signing, why he's worth every penny. So Pellegrini, I want to say he got out of jail here. I think that Manchester City needed this ounce of luck, but not even so much luck. They just needed to have one of their biggest players with the huge price tag that they paid for him step up to the occasion. And Kevin De Bruyne did in this situation, and all I can do is congratulate them on an essential victory. Now, the other team in Manchester United, didn't have the same luck. When asked before the game, Louis van Gaal said that he would be happy with a point, and at halftime, I think he would definitely have taken that point because they looked limp. They looked a little shaky in the first half. And Martial was he was 0 to hero, running, defending as typical striker, just hands going everywhere. The attacker cut the ball over, and his hand way up here. Don't know why it was in that area, and he gives away a penalty kick. Then it was just the most unluckiest sequence of events. Great save, ball ricochets off the post, comes back, hits De Gea again, and then falls to the oncoming player who anticipated this better than any Manchester United players. I don't think Schweinsteiger was too happy as he volleyed the ball away in frustration. And it was a great start, and Manchester United looked a little shaky, but then Martial, he's definitely a predator in the box. We know he's quick in behind. We know he's good with holding the ball up as well, but he's got a good head on his shoulders, and then by that I mean he can get into dangerous areas and direct that header down into the corner and got Manchester United a point. I don't think it was a bad result for them, and I'm going to round up all the scores in the one round clip. So here is a breakdown of all the scores in the Champions League today. So as we mentioned, CSKA Moscow tied 1-1 with United. Huge congratulations to Atletico Madrid, who destroyed Astana 4-0, steadying the ship in their Champions League campaign. And I think that they have been in form, as we've seen in La Liga, only a couple of points off the top. Looking very good at the moment. Fernando Torres also on the score sheet there. So all plus signs for Atletico Madrid. Juventus 0-0 against Borussia Mönchengladbach. Not exactly a game for the neutrals there. Galatasaray 2-1. They beat Benfica. Malmo beating Shakhtar 1-0. Now PSG and Real Madrid, despite it being 0-0, this was one of the games that I was focusing on my split screen. It was an exciting game. Although Real Madrid were riddled with injuries, they had plenty of chances to win that game. And PSG had chances as well, trust me. Am I just going to be a broken record when I criticise Cavani? Can't hold up the ball well, right to be substituted. And I'm going to criticise Zlatan as well. Far too many times getting caught offside, trying to play that line between just drifting in behind. But when you're that big, most of the time, the decision's going to go against you. I didn't think he looked mobile enough. There's a couple of times where he mishit the ball. Now, I love Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I love him as a person, but I'm not going to continue to just allow for that to I would say, to sway my perspective on him and still say that he's a fantastic player. At this point in time, I still think he's a good player for Ligue 1, and I think he's a good player for PSG. But against Real Madrid, I think they needed a bit more conviction up there. And Real Madrid, to be honest, I really like Jesse, I really like Lucas, I really like some of the players that they brought in to fill the void where you would expect Bale and James Rodriguez to play. Ronaldo was unlucky in a couple of chances. I think he could have done better, which is rare to say for Cristiano Ronaldo. But I felt that Real Madrid were the better team. They moved the ball better, and I think that they were unlucky to come away with just a point. I think PSG could count themselves lucky. Some great saves from the keeper as well. Cristiano Ronaldo had a couple of headers that he could have done better with, one that was just tipped over the bar. But I think overall, from me watching that game, I think PSG did not have enough, I would say, flair in the final third. I think that Verratti, Mota and Matuidi are a good, hard-working central midfield pairing, but not enough, I would say, flair to thread that needle pass right through in behind. Verratti has got signs of that, but he sits so deep that it's hard for him to get into those positions, and Cavani doesn't hold the ball up well enough to allow him to get up and support. I think when they brought on Lucas, they looked a little bit better, and then they brought on Lavezzi at the end. Di Maria was somewhat neutralised, I think, by Real Madrid. Didn't look a shadow of his old self in the Real Madrid jersey. So 0-0 was that game, and I'll break down the rest of the scores here just before the end. So to break down the scores just at the end, the last two scorings: Wolfsburg 2-0 win over Eindhoven, and as I mentioned at the very start of the clip, Manchester City 2-1 over Sevilla. So there you have it. That's a full breakdown of the Champions League based on what I had watched. I'm only one person. I can't watch all the games, but from what I've seen from each of those games, those are my talking points, in my opinion. We want to know what you guys think. Were Manchester City were the winners? Should Manchester United have won the game? Do you think Real Madrid were the better team? Do you think PSG should have come out with 3 points? All those comments, all the good stuff in the comment section below. Is Kevin De Bruyne going to be the signing of the season? He's up there already for me. Subscribe to TYT Sports.